This is Movies, a podcast about the act of cinema. And with me today, he just juiced up my cable. It is Hans.
Hello. What's up?
How are we doing?
Good. I just realized that I don't have my notes in this computer, so that's probably something that I should have taken care of before the episode. So that's good.
Do you take your notes in English or Spanish?
English. I can't I can't do both at once, which is something that I've struggled with whenever I have to like interact with two at the same time.
Mhm.
So if I'm watching something that's in English, I have to take notes in English, and if it's Spanish, then it's Spanish.
Okay. Well, did you have a lot of notes? I mean, what was the. This is a kind of simple movie. I feel like you
Yeah.
don't really need notes to enjoy Ben Stiller's 1996 dark comedy classic, The Cable Guy.
Yeah, which is so much better than I remember.
That has
I
been
had
the common. Every time somebody goes back to The Cable Guy, they always realize it was a hell of a lot better than what they thought back when it was originally released. People have been saying it's kind of underrated. It's a cult
Mhm.
classic. It was misunderstood. And I think that's all mostly true. I definitely enjoyed it the most I've probably ever enjoyed it watching it this time for the show. So that's where I'm at with it. And I'll tell you right now, I was the biggest Jim Carrey fanboy around back in 1994, 1995. We've talked before about how he was on a total roll as far as blockbuster hits go. In 1994, he had a trifecta of successful films with Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber. The following year, he does another Ace Ventura When Nature Calls,
Mm.
and then also what is the movie I'm missing? It's not this movie, right? In
Uh,
1995?
One sec, The Mask
No, The Mask is
before Dumb and
94.
Dumber. Fuck,
What
hold
does
on.
he have in He has two movies in 1995. One of them is the Ace Ventura sequel. The other one might be this, but I
1995.
thought this was 96 though.
Batman Forever.
Batman for
How
How could I
how do
forget
you
Batman
forget
Forever?
Batman Forever? Yeah.
Batman Forever is probably had the most significant marketing campaign around it too at the time. I can still vividly recall walking around Boston as a young boy and seeing Jim Carrey on buses, Chris O'Donnell on buses, Nicole Kidman on buses. They went all out for the marketing campaign. That's not something you really see these days anymore. Movie marketing in cities outside of New York and Los Angeles. They don't give a shit. They don't care at all anymore about that.
Was it Batman Forever?
Yeah.
The one that you? I'm trying to look for those ads, but I guess there's not.
You can
But I
probably
know.
find one on
Yeah.
eBay. You know what I saw on eBay was one of the subway signs because they'll put up subway posters when you're on the train. You'll see
Mhm.
as you're going by. I've seen one of those for sale for Batman, not even Batman Forever, but for Batman and Robin. So they're around, they're out there. But the campaign for that was crazy. I remember they had McDonald's cups of Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey. It was wild. They really went full throttle with it. And now they don't really care anymore. It's like, all right, you didn't show up. I guess we'll just go bankrupt then. That seems to be Warner Brothers' MO these days. I guess we'll just go bankrupt. We don't know how to market anything. I have these somewhere. 100%. So there you go. Hans just pulled up the McDonald's Batman Forever cups. If you're not on patreon.com/LowRes and watching the video episode of The Cable Guy with us this evening. So, yeah, I mean, would you have that plate in your home, in your dining room, on a
Yeah,
shelf?
displaying it. Yeah, behind glass.
You can put like mom's ashes and then the Batman Forever commemorative plate right next to it.
What's that U2 thing?
You two did the soundtrack, or did a couple of songs for the soundtrack for Batman Forever.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's when they used to care about merchandising, right? About promoting the movie, not with more than just online ads, which is the only
Yes.
thing they do now. And it's not even like before you would see because there were websites that people would visit, right? It wasn't just social media. So you would go to a website and you would see the ads either when you would access a page, it would take over your page like a little flash thing, or and then you have to X out, or on the sides of the page, you would see ads that sometimes you would hover the mouse over, and then you would get like the full trailer or like a bigger image. They don't even do that anymore because there's no websites that people go to anymore. It's just social media. So yeah, now I don't know. How do you even get hype for your movie anymore if it's not just hoping that someone retweets it
Yeah,
and
the
then an ad?
last real serious marketing campaign I saw for a movie was probably The Dark Knight. I remember because I was a bad boy when The Dark Knight came out. I was shoplifting needless shit left and right. I swear to God, I went into a Hot Topic just because stealing was second nature when I was a teenager. It was so bad, honestly. It was terrible. I walked into a Hot Topic and I just unboxed a Joker bobblehead and put it in the pocket of my cargo shorts and walked out. That was probably the stupidest one that I've ever stolen.
Nice.
That and season 1 of A Pup Named Scooby Doo. Instead of going to summer school one day, I decided to go to Walmart and I stole A Pup Named Scooby Doo through their home and garden section.
I mean, great choice. I'll be honest. It's a pretty good show.
It's
For how old were you?
classic.
9? How old were you? 15?
I was like 17 years old.
Stealing a pup named Scooby Doo. Yeah. I mean, I think I've always been too nervous to steal anything. One thing I do though, whenever, because now we have self-service at the supermarket that's close to my house. So sometimes, there will be promotion of four of the same item for like a lower price, right? And what I would do is like, well, I don't want four of the same item, so I just get the same item but like different flavors, so like different that you're not allowed to do, but I just pass
Mhm.
them as one so I get the promotion, which is not stealing. It's it, it's gaming the system
It's
is what I
gaming
do.
the system, just like when I
Yeah,
was a kid. I
yeah.
know I'm just realizing now I was bad all the way through when it came to retail. What I would do is when I was like 8 or 9, I would want like a videotape or something, and then I would go to I don't know like the candy section or something, or like the grocery section, and I'd find like a $1.99 label, and I would put that shit on top of the barcode for the videotape. And so I would be like, Mom, it's only $1. Can I get it? Okay, thank you. And then only one time did the cashier realize, wait a minute, this isn't right. This shouldn't be $1.99, and then said something
uh,
about it and was like, and scanned it for like the real price. But otherwise, I got away with it every single time where I would be like, here's a videotape. I'm probably not going to get anything else today unless it's very cheap,
cheap, yeah.
and so I would do that, or I'd like find like one of the discounted videotapes, like Maniac Cop 3 was $3 or something, or $2, and then I wanted a real movie like Me, Myself, and Irene, and I'd do that. So
how
anyway,
much how much was a regular tape?
back in the day, a regular tape was anywhere from like $9 to $20
Okay.
when I was a kid. Before that, obviously, if you're a 50-year-old man listening to this show, you're like, what are you talking about? Videotapes were $70 because they were
Eesh,
once upon a time.
fuck. And that, for back then, what would that be now, like a 150, 200 equivalent,
Oh, yeah, something like that.
something like that, right?
I just got 2 videotapes in the mail here. It's an erotic Jew double feature. We have Woody Allen's Hannah and Her Sisters and Daffy Duck's Quackbusters, two 1980s classics here that I got for the combined price of like $12. I don't know. But,
You
you
say
know,
erotic Jews? Is that what you said?
isn't it well known Daffy Duck is chosen?
Is it?
I've always thought so.
I thought he was just annoying. I thought he had
But
a weird
you know,
list, but yeah.
what was your introduction to Jim Carrey? Oh, by the way,
Oh,
sorry, I didn't even.
yeah.
This is a listener sponsored episode,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's brought to us by Zen Shift. I think this is his first pick in the history of movies. Actually, he has 2 movies for us to do. The other one's Vanishing Point, which we'll be getting to in good time. But he wanted us to talk about the Cable Guy. We're doing that, and
Yeah.
frankly, we might have done that anyway. I feel like the cable guy would probably be a ripe pick for like episode 721 of movies whenever that happens. But we're doing it for this one, and it was an enjoyable one for me. But what was your
Yeah,
introduction to Jim Carrey?
I'm surprised actually we haven't covered it yet, especially because it's become such a cult classic, like you said. My introduction to Jim Carrey was Copper Mountain. Have you ever seen that TV
No.
movie from that? No, I'm kidding. No, no.
What is
Uh,
that?
I don't know. It's it's the first thing that I saw. Copper Mountain, 1983. Two friends travel to a ski resort, with one looking to hit the slopes, while the other spends time trying to pick up women. That just
Hmm.
sounds like a comedy from Alan Thicke and Jim Carrey. This is when they were
They're the
still,
friends that are going on vacation
I
together. Who's the
guess.
one picking up women?
I guess Alan Thicke, because wasn't he playing like the straight man at the beginning? They were trying to make him like leading man, like handsome. So some of his early movies, he's just playing straight guy, and it's weird because it's fucking Jim Carrey. Uh, but I think my introduction was either Dumb and Dumber or The Mask. Those movies would replay on Costa Rican TV all the fucking time. And it was either that or Ace Ventura 2 was another one that they would just overplay.
2.2 out of 10. Sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah.
2.2 out of 10 for Copper Mountain. I kind of want to watch Copper Mountain now. Maybe
Well, I
we'll
wonder
add
what
that to
is.
the schedule.
I wonder what is Rubberface? Tony Moroni is his character's name. Just a. Well, this looks more Jim Carrey, I guess, because he's making faces, right? Oh, is this like a special? Oh, oh no. Never mind. I don't want to see that one. This looks insufferable.
What is
Then you
that?
have uh what does it
Okay,
say?
that's
The
a
film was shot
comedy
in
special?
Canada release there as introducing Janet. Janet is an overweight girl who has a knack for making the other children in school laugh by making fun of her own weight.
It's a
Jesus,
48
what
minute
the fuck?
TV movie that Jim Carrey shot in Canada that was probably supposed to be like his breakout
Oh
starring
yeah.
thing, and
Oops.
it's not.
Then you have All in Good Taste, which is oh, he's not main character here. Okay, never mind. Not that one then. And then you have Copper Mountain. Uh and then just a bunch of TV. Oh, Finders Keepers. Are you familiar with oops. Are you familiar with Finders Keepers?
I can't say that I am. Finders
Um
keepers.
Lou Gossett Jr. He's like 10th down. Build is even in the poster. Uh okay. Well, one of those big ensemble comedies, I guess, that they were released all the time. Once Bitten. That one sounds familiar. It's a vampire movie. Why does it sound familiar? Lauren Hutton,
Have you ever seen
Jim
Once
Carrey.
Bitten?
No.
It's
It's
actually not that bad for an early Jim Carrey movie.
what are all these? I didn't know he had so many before he got a hit. Fuck, that's rough. What is Peggy Sue Got Married? Uh, that the Clint Eastwood movie where he's okay. Earth Girls Are Easy. Oh, he's you're not even fucking here. Who am I talking to? Uh, who does he? Okay, yeah, I know. Dude, I don't know. Pink Cadillac. I've never seen Pink Cadillac, but that's hilarious. That's a hilarious image. What the fuck? Why have I never seen this image before in my life? I want to dress up like Clint Eastwood in Pink Cadillac. Where is Jim Carrey here, though? Uh,
He was in Pink Cadillac.
apparently, I'm trying to find him here, but
I know he
oh,
was
he
in.
he plays a stand-up, I
Of
guess.
course, I think he might have gotten along with Clint Eastwood because he's in one of the Dirty Harry movies. He gets killed.
Is this one that Deadpool?
The
The
Deadpool.
Deadpool?
That's
Yeah,
right.
Dirty
That's it.
Harry. Yeah. Um, are you familiar with Earth Girls Are Easy with Jeff Goldblum?
I've never seen this. This was one I always saw at the video store and at FYE when I would frequently buy physical media. I've never seen it. He plays an alien in it. I think Goldblum is an alien in it too.
Wow, it looks very 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Gina Day. Oh, that's Goldblum right there, I
Yeah.
think. Wow. And that's Jim Carrey on the left there.
It must be.
It looks like the toy from that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Oh,
You know what I'm
Damon
talking about?
Wayans is in
Last
it too.
always out with the yellow one.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good cast. Maybe we should watch Earth Girl. Start easy.
Yeah.
5.5, that's probably good.
I would, yeah,
PG.
I'm not
Mm.
opposed to doing like a early Jim Carrey deep dive. I don't think it would be terrible. I've seen Once Bitten. Once Bitten was okay for early Jim Carrey. There's some decent jokes in that. He kind of plays a straight man in it though.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, right? They were trying to make him like a straight actor. I guess he didn't do faces, and then once they saw him do faces, it was like, oh, wait, never mind. Talk with your ass. Maybe in Living Color. No, let's because that's weird. So the characters that he would play in Living Color were always outrageous and exaggerated, right?
Right.
Like his acting career, I guess, or his comedy. But in Living Color, he started in 1990. So okay, yeah, so they were all before in Living Color.
And
And then
Living
I guess
Color
after
didn't start until 1990. I thought that was a late 80s show.
no, but he started in 1990. Jim
Really?
Carrey.
Okay. I
That's what it
thought he was
says
in it from
here.
the jump.
Did it start in 1990?
No, I don't think so.
How do I
90,
first season?
maybe it did. I don't know. I've always
Oh
remembered
yeah,
it being like
yeah,
late
1990.
80s. Okay. All right.
Oh, weird. Okay. So that's when I guess he owes his career to the Wayans, much
He
like
kind of does. No, but he
many
really
other Wayans.
does cuz he was one of the there's a few breakout stars on In Living Color and he's definitely one of them. He was very good on that show.
Hmm. And he
But
would show, I guess, what gave him a career, which is all the physical comedy.
mhm.
You get a lot of here. I can understand why this movie would turn people off because he was being weird Jim Carrey, but it wasn't cute. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't.
He's being the
Oh,
version that you would actually encounter in the real
yeah.
world.
The version where if the character was real, that's what it would be like. You know, the
Yes.
intensity that you get from like a Lloyd, like in the movie. Oh, that's really funny. Dealing with him in real life, it would be like, oh my Jesus, shut up.
Well,
Uh,
what is the plot of Dumb and Dumber really is like they're kind of following a woman they don't know
yeah,
and tracking her down to seduce her.
I guess to talk to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Like
Yeah,
all these comedy plot lines when you talk about them in a serious manner sound weird, sound creepy. They don't play the same way. And I think Ben Stiller recognizes that back in 1995 or 6 and leans into that with The Cable Guy. Now, there's a couple of versions of this movie that almost happened but didn't happen. And I first realized this when I was deep diving. There's a movie from 1989 called Wired, which is about Jim Belushi, not Jim Belushi's downfall, John Belushi's downfall. Excuse me. Jim Belushi's downfall is those Canine movies. That's not as exciting.
oh, what do you mean? He's a weed mogul now, isn't he?
The weed mogul, Jim Belushi.
Yeah, yeah. He's got like weed and shit. That's what he does now. He sells weed, I think. Didn't we check that in one episode?
It wouldn't surprise me at all. I feel like that's the move for a lot of these older, overweight. Roseanne is doing the same thing, I think. But anyway, I was looking into that, and there was some channel I followed that documented how they blacklisted Michael Chiklis for starring as John Belushi in Wired. You can't find this movie anywhere. You got to buy it on like videotape or something in order to be able to watch it. And
Yes.
there, yeah, wow, that's a better look for him than according to Jim and whatever the hell
Oh, yeah.
else he's been up to.
Yeah. Regular guy. I mean, it's not regular if it's weed, right? What you're selling.
I
Uh,
guess.
yeah.
But that led me to a documentary on Beverly Hills Ninja, the Chris Farley movie. Did you ever see Beverly Hills Ninja?
Hell yeah. Apparently he hated it, right?
Yeah, he
He was
hated it. He was
humiliated.
embarrassed of it. They changed a bunch of the details from the script and what they were shooting at the time to be more obviously comedic, which I don't think you need to do with Chris Farley. It's
No.
obvious enough. It'll hit you right over the head. You don't need to lean into it more with goofy sound effects and needle drops. But he was ashamed of that movie.
Sucks about him though that he never just embraced that role, right? like if you could just be happy with being, I guess, well, I guess it's tough when you're actually like that fat and your entire career is just, well, I'm the fat guy that trips and falls over and make fun of me. My clothes are ripping and oh, well, he never got into the farting thing, but I'm sure that's where a career would have progressed, eventually. So I can see how that would be a dark existence. At the same time, how many other actors have embraced that and
Mm.
had like a fulfilling long career, where it's just like, well, that's just we just get the fat guy
Well,
and
not
no,
many. You just pulled up the one surviving one, right? But he wasn't even like the fat funny guy. He was
right,
like the fat, just a fat
serious,
guy. He just so happened
yeah,
to be fat, you know?
is the dad
They
that might beat you up, but you might beat him up too.
all the
It's
fat
like,
pathetic losers die. They all die. John Belushi
let's see,
died.
Jonah Hill. I guess Jonah Hill.
Farley died.
Jonah Hill was rescued by a real director and gave him a real career, I guess. Otherwise,
Sure.
he would have been. Because remember, Accepted? That
Yeah.
was him. That was the Jonah Hill. That was his career, where his career was going.
Philip Seymour Hoffman dead.
Yeah.
They
Huh.
die.
Oh, yeah, it's just a miserable
Because
life,
it
I guess.
sucks. It sucks to be the fat, gross loser. So they take a bunch of drugs to deal with that, and they overindulge in that and in women, and then they kill themselves by accident or by choice.
Hmm.
So all that to say, there was a version of the Cable Guy that was supposed to exist that starred Chris Farley, and then he bowed out because I guess to go do Beverly Hills Ninja, I believe.
And did he commit suicide right after Beverly
No,
Hills
no, he
Ninja?
didn't. He didn't commit suicide. He died of a drug overdose.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I mean, he just, it's, it's the
It's
same.
one way or the other. You know.
It's the same. I mean, you know your limits, especially if you're an addict. Like, I'm sure he knew. Hey,
Maybe.
let me just go fucking way further. Or, I mean, fentanyl wasn't a thing yet, right? So,
No. No, he died of a speedball, I believe, which is
oh,
cocaine and heroin. Or maybe I'm confusing that with John Belushi. What Bill Murray said was that John Belushi has been portrayed as like this party guy who would go crazy all the time. If you watch the movie Saturday Night, they
yeah.
don't veer away from that. He's still an outrageous, over the top mess, disaster human being. But according to Bill Murray, that wasn't the case at all. And the reason why he died is because he was probably just fucking around with it for the first time. And he was a lightweight. And he did too much and it killed him.
Huh. He was another miserable, right? Another one that, well, I, it's their egos, right? That just don't allow them to be like they want to be more than just a fat. So it's really weird to like put yourself in that mindset because the industry has changed so much where you don't have this guy anymore. So it's difficult to put yourself into the mind of like, well, which actor is just a joke on everything? Like that role doesn't exist anymore. There's like movies are not that either comedic or mean, however you want to frame it, but that doesn't exist, right? Like you don't really have I guess you would say what, like a Melissa McCarthy 10 years ago, or like that British girl that ended up losing a bunch of weight and now she's skinny, who would play just the same role but British. What was her name?
Rebel
Rebel
Wilson.
Wilson.
They
Yeah,
both
yeah, yeah.
got skinny.
Right. So like that role just doesn't exist. I guess because comedies don't exist anymore. So you don't have the, well, this guy's just there for the physical comedy or for like the comedic relief. But it's difficult to put yourself in the mindset of well, I'm a Hollywood guy that's successful and people love me. So obviously, like, I'm sure they expected a different type of respect because of that. But at the same time, because of the type of character that you play, no one does. Even like random people on the street, like they're not gonna treat you the same way they would treat like a Chevy Chase. You know what I mean? Or like a Dan Aykroyd even.
No, because you're the
Uh,
punching bag.
exactly.
You
So
might
like
not
it,
receive the same respect. And I know that was a thing that frequently occurred. Was it Opie and Anthony or something where people would actually like take jabs at Rich Voss or someone like that
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because he was the punching bag of the show. But then he would be like, "No, fuck you. What are you talking about? You don't get to talk shit to me, you know?"
yeah. Who are you? Exactly. Yeah.
So that is definitely a thing. And I mean, at the end of the day, this is all a choice. Your identity as a comedian
Yeah.
is a choice. If you want to be that loser, Well, you have to imagine that portraying that character is going to rub off on you. It's going to affect you. So I understand why they would want to divert, but it's also like, well, you did this so well. What do you expect to happen now?
Yeah, it's rough. I don't know. I think Jim Carrey was perfect cast for this role. I don't know if the physicality of Chris Farley would have taken it overboard, because I think that there's a couple of times in the movie where it's very close to moving past the believable thing, where he just, especially at the end, I feel like that scene with the satellite and everything is a little,
Yeah.
it's a little too
So,
much,
mhm.
and I don't know how
Well,
someone
if
with
it
the
was Chris
physicality of
Farley, he
Chris
would have
Farley,
broke the satellite.
yeah, yeah, he would have just made a hole in it and just died.
Mhm.
But I think Jim Carrey was perfect for this, especially after uh, movies like Ace Ventura, where he goes all out. And here, there's a lot of, like, you can see his acting range, because even when he's creepy, he's so believable. It's just like a ugh. Like, I don't want to. I really don't want this guy messaging me or coming into my apartment on his own to set up shit. It's just like his whole
Yeah.
performance is great here.
Yeah, if I can visualize the version of this movie that would have been Chris Farley. What I can't visualize is the other selection that they had in mind, which was Adam
Mm.
Sandler.
Oh, yeah, no.
That would not have
That's
worked
weird.
at all. He's too
No.
smart assy to be the cable guy. It would have been like
Ye
Opera Man as the cable guy.
Oh, you mean Adam Sandler as I thought you meant Adam Sandler as the Matthew Broderick character.
No, I think that would have been maybe interesting, but it wouldn't have worked.
You mean Adam Sandler as the cable? Oh, that would have been awful. Woo-dee-doo. Like that would be like his whole thing. Cable woo woo. Yeah, no,
Well, I
that
guess it would have
sounds
been what,
horrible.
Rain on Me? What was the Don Cheadle 9/11 movie he did? He would have had to do
Oh,
something like that. And it would just
no, because like
it
okay, so
doesn't connect.
where was Sandler in '95?
Billy Madison.
Okay, so it would have been, huh? Oh, Opera Man, Adam Sandler. Was he still in SNL? Was he out of
No,
SNL?
he I believe he left SNL at that point.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see it.
No.
Espe- uh, Especially when you have a such a I I've always hated Matthew Broderick. I feel like he's such a
Why do you hate Matthew Broderick?
because he's such a whatever. Like he's such a nothing. Like I've never watched a movie and said, "Oh, Matthew Broderick was so good in this." Even in something
Literally,
like
I was just gonna say, I think the actual genius casting choice here was
you-
Matthew
for
Broderick.
him, I just feel like he doesn't. I mean, for this role, fine, but he's never the one that I go see, I guess. And I feel like his performance is always very much this. He
Hmm.
plays Matthew Broderick, which is a very one tone, kind of cowardly, kind of that guy. That's not much. That's not very important. That can play off an outrageous character like this. So for that, he's a perfect cast. But I just don't.
It's kind of it's
Yeah.
crazy that the guy who played Ferris Bueller, who's like one of the all-time
Yeah.
rambunctious youthful characters, then evolves into this man, the real Matthew Broderick, I would assume.
Yeah,
And that's
just
what his character becomes from the 1990s onward. But I mean, for this type of movie, for this type of character where he's just like a big city cucky liberal
nervous.
guy,
Yeah.
he's perfectly cast. He is exactly perfectly cast because there are hundreds of thousands of this type of man out there that would respond in the exact same way in
Yeah.
this situation, which it, like even at the end, not to jump fully ahead, but since you brought up the satellite and everything, even
Yeah.
at the end, everything he's done, the Jim Carrey character, Chip Douglas, which is not his real name, everything he's done and he's about to off himself. And this dude has been a nuisance. He's been invading his personal life and getting to know his family, his friends, his girlfriend. He's about to like end it, and it's like, okay. He's like, no, no, no. We'll go out and we'll get a Heineken.
Yeah.
Why would you do? You do not understand what the pathology of this type of man is when it comes to little gestures like that. It's like he's going to be the guy who does the easiest thing, socially the easiest thing no matter what in these situations, and it's always going to exacerbate whatever the worst case scenario could potentially be. And I think Matthew Broderick as this kind of schlubby everyman
Mhm.
type who's not really a loser, but I guess he's a loser by proxy of his decisions in this movie, is so well cast. And I don't
Mhm.
think the over the topness of Jim Carrey would work as well in this context if you didn't have extremely normal, regular guy Matthew Broderick responding like an average, everyday, regular, normal guy would if
Yeah.
having to deal with Jim Carrey in the real world.
Just nervous, just very
Just like, what are you doing? Like, what? I don't get uncomfortable.
yeah, non-confrontational, just allowing him to just do anything he wants, like in front of his mom, like with the whole sexual game with his
Yes,
mom
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
everything. And it's just, yeah, it's you do need that. And he is perfect. I'm not a huge fan of him, but I think he plays perfectly that what you need for this type of movie, which is yeah, the weak, everyone's gonna step over him character that even when he's done everything to ruin your life, yeah, he made him what? Did he get fired from his job? I don't remember that
Yes.
part.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah,
got
yeah. So
arrested,
he
right?
hacks all the I mean, this is kind of a miracle for technology in
Oh yeah.
1996. He hacks all the computers to transmit perfectly broadcast, not choppy at all, secret hidden cam footage of Matthew Broderick's character bashing his boss, talking about his hair
Oh
plug,
yeah.
saying he has no vision, da 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 da. And yeah,
So
he's
let's
able to
see.
do that.
Let's list the things that he puts him through. So you have that. You have the I installed an entire home theater system in your house because I'm your friend, and then ends up being like he reported as stolen, right? A
Mm-hmm.
stolen equipment, so he gets in trouble with the cops because of that. Then he gets him a prostitute.
Yes.
He gets him a prostitute so that he cheers up, but he doesn't know it's a prostitute. Takes a Polaroid picture of him to ruin his relationship with his ex that he's recently starting to fix. So then that happens, and it all happens because one day he's just annoyed and he's just like, "Yeah, I don't want to be your friend," which is a great scene because um you don't have to tell him I don't want to be your friend. You know what I mean? Like, but there was no other way of getting rid of him. He tried everything. He tried not answering. He tried, busy with my life and telling him that he can't do. And the only way to get rid of him is by saying, I don't want to be your friend. But that's what, breaks this character that later we find out that has been, raised by TV because his mom never cared for him, right?
Yeah.
Because you have a scene at the end there where all his traumas come out.
Well, you have a
Um,
scene at the beginning too that shows him in his youth. And to set it up real quick, Matthew Broderick plays an architect named Steven who just broke up with his girlfriend because he proposed to her, and she was like, I don't know. She's kind of iffy on this guy. And it's played by Judd Apatow as well. He produced this movie, by the way, Judd Apatow. His wife, what's her name? Leslie
Leslie
Mann?
Bibb?
Leslie Bitch?
Isn't it Bibb?
Leslie
But it was
Bitch
Leslie.
plays the protagonist's girlfriend. And
Oh, Leslie Man, yeah.
we have the Jim Carrey cable guy character who uses all these television pseudonyms, characters from the 1960s, 70s, 80s. He goes by Chip Douglas primarily, um, who comes to install his cable. And I don't think they ever really tell us how he winds up at Steven's house because we learn later on he was fired from the cable company for stalking customers. And how I don't know. I mean, I guess he just has his ways.
Yeah, he has a van from the company, and I guess he has the company's phone. That what he cloned? Maybe I don't know. It's
Yeah.
never explained, but you don't need to
The
really.
technology in the 90s was a lot
Yeah,
simpler where you could just flick a little thing and then suddenly you get all the premium cable channels for free, which is actually that would happen back then. You would
yeah,
get a black box and you would if you knew somebody, if you had a hookup, you could do that type of thing.
yeah. And you don't have to pay for pay-per-view or anything, or you could just steal it from your neighbor too if you knew the right person. That's what they would do here.
Mhm.
You just steal it off your neighbor. can we talk about what a stack film full of cameos this is? And
Yeah, I
how,
what I realized was we got, and this is not what I noticed as a kid because I had no idea who the hell these people were.
yeah,
Bob Odenkirk, George Segal, Owen Wilson. Who am I
Eric
missing?
Roberts, Johnny Garofalo,
Oh yeah,
Jack
Eric
Black.
Roberts plays the TV movie
Yeah,
version
the
of
UPN
the
TV
twins,
movie.
the
Yeah,
fake
yeah, yeah.
Menendez brothers.
You have a David Cross
Yep.
cameo, Andy Dick, who's the medieval times king.
You know, for the longest time, I thought that was Tom Green.
Oh, I can see that, I guess. He was looking healthy still, I
Yeah, this
guess.
was
Owen,
healthy Andy Dick.
yeah.
Eric Roberts is Eric Roberts. So,
And
and then of
then,
course Ben Stiller plays the Sweet Brothers. So
oh,
this
yeah.
is like the first. You know, Ben Stiller is kind of like the original Peter Vack in a lot of ways. Peter Vack is so consumed with technology and being commenting on whatever like the thing is that's like the unhealthy media atmosphere. Ben Stiller was doing that first with television, and he's commenting on the Menendez brothers trial and how that was a whole thing that took the country by storm. And it feels like there's a little bit of OJ in there too,
Mhm.
with the well, they're former celebrities. They were former brothers on a TV show, and he plays both of the twin brothers. One kills the other, and it's this background noise that we have as the movie develops. Is the nation is taken by storm over this case? They're so interested in this case, and it culminates to what happens, which is we don't find out what the verdict is because of Chip Douglas falling from the platform and landing on the satellite.
Yeah.
So, actually, some of the funniest moments in the movie are the Ben Stiller trial.
It's a underrated added element, I think, because it's just, especially visually, it's a very interesting. I don't want to say it's experimental, but I feel like he does a lot of very interesting choices here when it comes to the visuals.
I was going to
When
say that. You know, I was going to say Hype Williams actually owes Ben Stiller special thanks credit for the scene in Belly where they walk in and it's a blue light and they've got
Yeah,
the contact lenses in. Ben Stiller did that first here with the cable guy, actually, when he has Jim Carrey's character break into Steven's apartment
yeah.
during the dream sequence.
But there's a lot of TV related effects, which is cool, which is just whenever, we see a screen, or sometimes we would cut to, like what you said, the fake Menendez brothers footage, and it was all it was all like themed into, it kind of felt like a cable guy nightmare that you're in at times, where everything is like in that world, and for whatever reason, it's all related to TV, which is funny to think, was there's like, that's as high as technology gets, right? A big TV with a giant box under it and big speakers that take over your entire living room. That
Mm-hmm.
was like, holy shit. Like that, look at that setup. And now it looks like shit. It looks like very clunky and huge, but that's not having cell phones, not having the internet as a distraction. I think it places this movie in a very interesting time frame, of the 90s, before technology took over everything, but at the same time it's like the early days of that, because of all the cable and all of this new technology at the time, I guess, that's introduced here, and how this guy is able to manipulate it at will, at points. I think that was a very underrated element that, I mean, it doesn't need it, but I think it adds like a layer of, I don't want to say horror, but at least unsettling feeling to it that it has, because of all those little elements that Ben Stiller throws in there.
What do you think about him as a director? Because
I
I've been kind of reflecting that he might be one of the quintessential Gen X, or even though he only had two movies come out in the '90s, he might be one of the quintessential Gen X directors.
Hmm. I was looking at his list yesterday after seeing Cable Guy, because I was thinking the same thing. It's just like, I knew that he did no, not fucking Anchorman, Zoolander movies, right?
Yeah,
And then he also had the Ben Stiller show. I don't know if he directed that, but then
yeah.
uh Tropic Thunder, right, which is a huge, still hilarious movie that still
Mhm.
holds up. Fucking
Has
what,
some overlap here
13,
with
14?
the false meta elements of like, okay, well, you're going to start the movie with trailers to movies that don't
Yeah.
exist. So we have a little bit of that here with Cable Guy, where he's exploring that.
Yeah, and it seems like now he's getting to his like artistic era of directing because I don't, did you see the Walter Mitty movie?
I feel like I did see it on a plane or a cruise or something
Is that
15
type of
years
movie.
ago. It's
Yeah,
yeah. I don't think I actually watched it. I know. I think Mike White wrote the script. If you can correct me on that. I've been watching
no,
White Lotus recently, and that show's been a treat.
no, that was not Mike White.
Are you sure about that? I feel like
Yeah,
Mike White had something to do with it.
it says Steve Conrad and James Thurber.
Maybe he was in it. Let me take a look here. I feel like man, I don't know. Maybe I'm off here. But anyway,
Mike White, School of Rock. Around that time, 2013. Nope.
am I just imagining that? Who am I thinking of then? I have no idea. I don't know. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Ben Stiller did, yeah, it's kind of funny you say both Zoolander movies. I completely forgot there was a Zoolander 2
I
because
never
it
saw
went the
that.
same way as
Yeah.
Anchorman 2. I feel like man, I saw one of them. I saw one of those two movies.
I saw Anchorman 2 in the theater and I was so mad by the end of it. That's what kept me from seeing Zoolander 2 too, because I was like, I'm just gonna get the same shit. Why would I see that? Maybe it's not that, I mean 4.7. But then after that, he did this series. I don't know if you saw it, Escape at Dannemora. I saw that series. It had Paul Dano, the Patricia Arquette and Benicio del Toro, and it's about these two guys that are in prison in upstate New York, and Patricia Arquette plays this fat old lady that I think works at something in the jail with them, and then the she helps them escape. But during that, they also like fuck her, and like it's like this weird love triangle in jail. But it feels very non-Ben Stillery, you know? And then after that, you have this new show that everyone's been sucking off, right? Where it's all artistic. It's Severance, which is all
Yes.
artistic
Have you
and
started watching
experimental.
Severance?
I watched the first season. Uh, I mean, it's really good. It's visually, it just by the end of it, and my ex was still here, and I just remember that when we finished it, we were both kind of like very turned off by the ending of season one, which is a cliffhanger, but
Yeah.
it feels very anticlimactic, and we were both kind of like, "Fuck this show," because we spent 10 episodes watching, or however. No, I don't think it wasn't even 10. What was the first season? I think it was maybe like 6 episodes or something.
I think you were right. I think it was about 10 episodes.
Was it 10? Let me see. It was 9 episodes.
9
And
episodes.
by the end of nine, yeah, we were just very turned off by how it ended. And now I'm very turned off by the reaction of the internet to season two. So I think I'm going to take my time to enjoy it
Well,
once
what
all
has the
of this.
reaction been? I honestly just have not seen, other than people saying, I'm watching Severance season 2. I haven't seen any sort of critical reception to the new season.
Well, it's a masterpiece, right? It's oh my God, have you seen what happened? And I see a lot of posts of, oh my God, did you see? Oh my God, Severance. Oh my, which is, and from people that usually hype the type of show that I don't want to watch, like a Ted Lasso or like the Apple TV shows where I'm just like, oh, cool. It's not my taste doesn't match with your taste at all.
Right.
So that kind of tells me to stay off those things, like Ted Lasso. But this show, I'm interested in checking it just to see what happens. But at the same time, whenever a show gets a lot of hype, I kind of it kind of puts me off too, which I don't know if that's uh arrogant or I don't know what the word for that
No,
is,
I think
but
it's reasonable to be skeptic based off of the current tastes of most of the population here who's watching TV. I saw somebody post, "Oh, can we talk about how low key we're in the new golden age of television?" And they posted Severance, they posted Jack Reacher, they
oof,
posted
nice.
Daredevil, and then they
Okay.
posted White Lotus. And I was like, "Come on.
Yeah.
Let's take it easy. Let's hit the brakes on that. The new golden age. Oh yeah, this is going to be Sopranos." And the reality is, you're not going to remember a goddamn thing from probably any of these shows. I'll say White Lotus has been stellar.
Mm.
I didn't watch the
Yeah.
first two seasons. I've been watching season 3 with Walton Goggins. That was my opening there. I was like, Walton, I'm in. I love Walton.
Yeah.
Sunday nights with Walton, him on there and Righteous Gemstones, cool.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Walton
Um,
Goggins sucking titties. I'm in.
yeah. So they got Sam Rockwell on that show too.
Oh, really?
And I've seen a clip from that scene, and it was straight up. I'm not fully caught up. It's the next episode.
Oh, okay.
I got to watch it. It's been great, and the scene seemed hilarious. So that'll be what I'm doing after this show tonight. The other thing I've been watching is hours and hours and hours of Vanderpump Rules.
What is that?
That's the best show ever.
You know what Vanderpump Rules to me is? Life. What was that show? Life with. Remember that show about that gay guy that had a family and we would come after WWE and it was like Life with Johnny or something and it was
What?
like this obvious. It
Are
was
you
like
talking
this
about the
obviously.
John Goodman
No, 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 no,
sitcom?
no. We this is something that we've talked about before, and I've shown you.
Life with
Life with
Johnny.
fuck. It's not Johnny. It
Life
was
with fuck.
his reality show.
It's a reality show.
Yeah, it is. It's a reality show, and it was called Life with, and the name of the guy, and I think he was like a real estate gay
Oh
guy
no no
or
no no!
something.
I know exactly who you're talking. He's in prison now.
Oh, oh, right.
He
Oh
got
yeah, we
arrested
did.
for
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know
Remember
Todd
Life,
Chrisley.
Life with Chrisley was what it was
Yeah.
called.
You know
That's
how
what
I know that is
Vanderpump.
because my mom would watch that show.
Oh God.
So there you
Yeah, it's
go.
just I mean,
No,
obviously.
no, Vanderpump Rules is a very different vibe than that,
Okay,
and
what is it?
it's about this restaurant out in West Hollywood called Sir. And the show was shot back in like 2013, 2014. It's still going, I guess. I don't know. They brought in new people. And it's about the wait staff there.
Okay.
And they all just like cheat on each other and lie to each other and fuck each other's best friends. And it's horrible. It's a horror. I mean, it's great, but it's like horror. It would be horrible to exist in that space because it's these 30-year-olds who have a friend circle like back in high school. You know how in high school you'd have a friend group, and yeah, you might date your friend's ex and he might date his this
Oh yeah.
friend's ex, and that it was just musical chairs. They're doing that as like 30-year-olds, and it's so volatile and chaotic, and they live with each other, they sleep with each other, they go to work with each other, and it's just pure drama. It's like, okay, some of this must be staged, but like, why would you stage fucking your best friend's girlfriend and then it coming out here? So like, the producers will like nudge stuff, but it's for one of these types of shows, it seems very organic to me because people are just constantly hurt and crying and blowing up and going nuts, and it's pure late aughts, early
Trash.
tens style, like people wearing Ed Hardy, the tacky spiked hair, button down shirts that are not tucked in. It's that style that's surely going to come back in about 8 or 9 years.
It's a Bravo produced show, so that
It
I
is.
think that explains everything you just said.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't like those shows, but this show is fucking, oh, it's top notch. It's so good.
Why did I think that this was one of those shows where it's just like rich whores
Because,
that
no, no,
fight
no.
with each
The
other?
name of the show is Vanderpump Rules
Yeah.
because it's named after Lisa Vanderpump, who owns the restaurant. But she's like not on the show at all. It has nothing to really do with her. She's just like the Godfather, and it's named after her, but she's not really present. So
12
she was like a
seasons.
real
Jesus.
housewife of
12
Beverly Hills or
seasons of
something.
this fucking show. I can't believe Bravo still exists. And I guess it's this type of show that is are keeping it alive.
Well, they do like 90 Real Housewives of blank
Yeah.
shows. Like I was talking to Stawn a while back and I was telling him about the Traders or something. He's like, "Oh yeah, dude, have you gotten on the Real Housewives kick?" I was like, "No. I don't watch Real Housewives." He's like, "Yeah, my girl got me into Real Housewives." And I'm like so into the lore of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I was just like, "Wow, man, you're further gone down that rabbit hole than I
Yeah.
have."
Yeah, because I'm looking at so the shows that are still let me pull it up. the shows that Bravo still I honestly would have thought that this channel would have already merged with another one, but
Well, it's been absorbed by Peacock, but honestly, I feel
okay.
like it's thriving because Southern Charm is like the big show right now for
What the
reality
fuck?
TV for some reason. I don't know anything about it. I've never seen it.
Political history of the area? What? What?
I don't know. I haven't seen a single second of it, but I know a lot of people talk about Southern Charm.
Okay, so you got that. That one's still ongoing, right? Currently
Yep.
airing. You got Summer House. Are you familiar with Summer House?
No, no idea.
Two
Never seen
spin-offs,
Summer
Winter
House.
House, Summer House, Martha's Vineyard. Okay, so it's all, yeah, it's all, okay, more trash. Uh, what the
Below
fuck is
Deck.
What's Potomac? What is that?
That's
What the
just
fuck?
another. That's another spinoff.
Maryland? Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So Salt Lake. All right. Yeah, that's, I mean, how outrageous do the Salt Lake ones get? That would actually be kind of interesting to see is if they're all like
Surely there's some
Mormon and
Mormons in there, right?
right. Below
So it could be
deck down
multiple
under.
wives from the same man.
Yeah, maybe. Is
I
that
don't
what
think
got
so, but that would
Stan
be
into
great.
it?
Yeah. Polygamy? That'd be so cool.
The highest average viewership is 0.71 million.
That's not good. That's pretty
Damn.
bad. I feel like even
Yes.
for Bravo, that can't be that good.
Denise
I
Richards has a reality show.
and her
Why?
wild things.
Sure.
What? Her
Her
occasional
husband and
yeah, I was gonna say like meeting with Charlie Sheen every so often due to custody of their kids.
uh,
Mm.
yeesh.
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway.
Bravo's shit. Bravo's trash. It sucks. But Vanderpump rules. Rules. I can't speak praises of this show enough. I
How
love
many
it.
have are you caught up? Are you excited
No,
for
I'm
the new
only
one?
I'm only on I'm about to be on season 3. Actually, you know what? I'm on
Oh.
season 2, the reunion special part 2.
There's
That's
unions, so people get fired and new people come
they
in.
they do
How?
reunion episodes to like catch up and go over like the best, but like really like the most traumatizing moments of the season. And there's this dude named Jax Taylor on there that's just like the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen on reality television. And I don't know. I won't even really go into it. We're kind of getting derailed here, but I would love to. We got to get him on the show to just to talk and just be like, what were you thinking on when you slept with your best friend's girlfriend while also cheating on your girlfriend as she was seeing Frank the bartender who you trained? It was kind of a Kenny situation, really. Not to tell tales
Jesus
out of school.
Christ.
We
That
talked
was
about
just
Kenny's situation where he was training some guy at Home Depot years ago, and then that guy wound up taking his girl. That's kind of a
oh
similar
shit.
situation here. Yeah.
The
The
door
apprentice becomes the master.
Kenny Dorsey rules.
Dorsally rules.
Dorsey rules. 12 seasons of this. I can't wait for you. Well, I want to see when you jump off. If you jump off, because I'm sure there's going to be a couple of rough seasons there.
Yeah, I
But
think once, the shows
Vanderpump
continued
Dogs?
on.
Are you familiar with Vanderpump Dogs?
No, I'm not. What is that?
It says Lisa Vanderpump works her magic to match adorable rescues with her colorful clientele at the Vanderpump Dogs Rescue Center, the place where doggies' dreams come true.
This is like the nicest version of this show, I'm certain.
What the
Okay.
fuck?
All right, good
Okay.
to know. Once I clear all 12 seasons, then I've got
Well,
Vanderpump Dogs.
you also have this one, right?
What is this?
Jackson Brittany take
That's
Kentucky.
yeah. This is Jax
Oh, that's
Taylor.
the
You know
guy?
what? You know what's hilarious is his girlfriend back in like 2012 or something. Not to bash this woman here, but his girlfriend in 2012 or 2013 was like, "I was looking at your phone. You have so much BBW porn." And then he winds up like the girl he winds up with is a pretty thick gal.
This lady, very
Yeah,
southern.
she doesn't look
Mm.
like this anymore. For the not to be again, not to be mean, but she doesn't look like that currently. So
Do you also watch the after show?
the after show. I mean, I think that's the reunion. Yo, you
Oh,
can't be pulling it. You're going to spoil the show for me if you're pulling this up. There's Tom
oh,
Sandoval.
sorry.
Tom's also a great total bastard.
Sorry, I don't mean to spoil future
Yeah.
seasons of Vanderpump
I don't
Rules.
even know some of those people yet. They haven't been introduced yet, okay? I have
Well,
no clue who they are.
at least you know that you have something to look forward to, which is Jackson, his fat girlfriend, take Kentucky.
They
So
have
that's
their own,
fun.
yeah, yeah, it'll be good. I honestly, when because he will get pushed off the show like midway through. I watch like the opening credits for every season, and it changes year by year because new people come in and work at the restaurant. New people have like boyfriends and girlfriends, and I was like, "Where's Jax?" Jax disappears in season 6. This is gonna go downhill immediately because this dude's insane. He's crazy. Um, he was
Yeah,
like,
it seems
"Yeah,
like
I have cancer." He didn't have cancer. He's like, "Yeah, I have PTSD." He didn't have PTSD. Yeah, I have bipolar disorder. Who knows? Maybe. I don't know.
it seems like this show is just him being from the city, right? And then going to the south and dealing with southern things.
I guess
Like,
so. We've seen that. That was The Simple Life
yeah,
with Paris Hilton, Nicole
yeah.
Richie.
Yeah, but now it's Jackson, his girl.
Yeah.
Jackson Fatty.
But yeah, that's such a good show. It's so dramatic. It's so dramatic. And the things that people do. You know, the reason why I believe the show too, and it's not like a staged, I mean, there's some of it, but it's not a staged thing is because people will lie to the audience in the confessional. Like on, let's say episode 3, season 1, Jax will be like, I never slept with that girl. I did not get a girl pregnant in Vegas. I didn't do that. And then like episode 5, he'll be like, listen, I slept with a girl in Vegas, but it was like 2 years before I was with my girlfriend. I didn't cheat on her. I did do this, but I didn't do it then. And then you'll go to episode 7, he'll be like, yeah, I did it. I did it. All right, fine. I got her pregnant. And it's like if this was all staged and scripted and planned, there would be like connective tissue here. But
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not what
yeah.
happens. It's like it's reality. It's people lying and gradually telling the truth little by little because they're uncomfortable with just being honest. And then it comes out and then boom, an explosion. So good. So good. But anyway, it has nothing to do with Ben Stiller's the seminal classic The Cable Guy. Ben Stiller, one of
Yeah.
our best directors, comedy directors certainly. Reality Bites though, kind of a predecessor for a lot of this stuff. That was his movie that came right before Cable Guy. A little real world tinted, where you have somebody doing a documentary. You got Winona Ryder, Ethan Hawke, Janine Garofalo, and Steve Zahn.
I
So,
wanted to I wanted to check that. Is it
you haven't seen it?
no, is it very it's very 90s, I'm assuming, right?
Oh, it's extremely not. It's one of the most '90s movies that could have ever existed, and it's a solid flick. I mean, it's been years since I watched it, but I remember it being quite good. Ben Stiller's in it too, and he doesn't have his teeth fixed yet, so you get Gap Ben Stiller. I'm pretty certain.
I didn't even know he had bad teeth.
If you see
That's
him on the Ben Stiller show or any of the short films they did, I know there's one where
oh
they
yeah.
parodied Color of Money.
He's got big goofy teeth.
Yeah,
Doing
he's got that kind of look in the movie, I believe. And he plays kind of like the Alex P. Keaton baby boomer Reaganite leftover who's like money focused. And then Ethan Hawke is the, you know, I like to do drugs. I like to smoke weed and
right.
play guitar in my apartment. Materialism sucks. Da 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 da
The Mc-
da.
the McConaughey.
Alternative. Yeah.
Yeah. The
McConaughey
McConaughey
before
character.
McConaughey.
Yeah, I might. You know, I've been interested in checking these early 90s comedies because I feel like we're far away from them enough where I'm sure most of them, well, maybe not most of them because there were so many, but a lot of them that were seen as like terrible are probably not that bad. I mean, I know that the cable guy was seen like that when he came out, probably because of people expecting, you know, a nicer weirdo, a nicer autistic guy, right? But there's a lot of really early ones. Like those, I mean, those Jim Carrey movies, I'm sure they're not good, but it's interesting to see where they came from or like where the career was going before the break. Because you know, he started, like I said, like a straight man, and then his entire career was just him, physical comedy, and then he went back to that, right?
Yeah.
Later in his career, until he got money from Disney for Sonic, which It's
Is
Disney, right?
that ain't Disney? That's
Is that
Universal, I
Warner?
believe.
Oh, is it Universal? Okay, well,
Yeah,
until he got that money, I guess. But I I'm familiar with Ben Stiller's sketch show, and it was funny. At least the last time I saw it was like fucking
it
20 years ago.
was.
So yeah, I'll be up for checking out his early work that I'm not familiar with yet.
I think Ben Stiller's comedy has aged better than Jim Carrey's comedy.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't depend on physical, right, or on annoying. Not always, I guess.
I think Zoolander's the only example that I can think of where Ben Stiller was doing something kind of over the top and goofy, but I feel like even if we were to revisit that, it would play well now.
What about Dodgeball? Remember Dodgeball?
Well,
He was acting,
he
but
starred in
yeah,
Dodgeball.
yeah,
That's a little
yeah, yeah,
different. But
yeah.
from I mean directing
His,
wise.
yeah, because they are goofy, but yeah, I don't know. It's that early '90s, I think. I want to say Dan Aykroyd style comedy
I
that
think you're
that
going to
I
say Dan Schneider style comedy.
no, that like Dan Aykroyd style comedy where it's just they're weirdos. You know, the main characters are kind of weird, and that's where the comedy comes from. Like them acting in this, I guess, not weird world. And for that reason alone, I think those movies are it's easier for them to hold up because they're so character based, where you can just put them anywhere, you know, and the time frame doesn't
So
matter.
based in red pilled, I think you mean.
Yeah, like Walter Mitty.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking back in 2013 is damn, this Walter Mitty is so based in red pilled.
Yeah, in the plane watching. That's such a plane movie too. I don't think I've ever seen it, but I've seen it in a plane where it's there, and
By
even
the way,
then,
I was confusing The Secret Life of Walter Mitty with Brad Status, which was written and directed by Mike White and starred Ben Stiller.
oh, okay. I don't even know what that
That's
is.
what I was thinking of. That movie was I, mm,
No.
nothing. It was a total void. It was just and one of these old guy trying to relate to young people
Hmm.
movies. And it's kind of crazy to think that's the same dude who did White Lotus and Chuck and Buck, actually. But he did the Emoji movie. Mike White wrote the Emoji movie, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Me 4. He wrote Pitch Perfect 3. Ugh. The
Wow.
Emoji Movie.
Money. Money
Nach
talks.
Nacho Libre. Cool.
All right. Yeah, you get one.
Yeah.
You got School of Rock in there too, I believe.
Yeah, you got Orange County.
We didn't talk about Jack Black being in this movie.
Oh yeah. He's like his best, well, his friend, right?
Oh, actually, Mike White and Jack Black used to work together. I think they had a production company called Black and White.
Hmm. No,
Not
not sure.
clever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Jack Black's in this movie, and he's not hamming it up. He's playing, he got a lot of roles like this back in the
Yeah.
90s where he's like the snarky friend.
Where he's young, when he's that guy that's not fat, but he's fat. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Well, he's
the
short,
yeah.
so the
It's
weight,
the
it rounds him, even if he's not the fat guy.
it's like the fat guy of the group, but no one's fat, so he's like the one that's shorter, I guess. It's just
Hmm.
like, well, you get it. But he what do you see this? High Fidelity is the one where he jumps in, or what other record store movie
Yes.
he's
No,
in?
no,
High
you're right.
Fidelity, right?
Yep.
Uh, and yeah, he would just play, I guess, those roles that we were talking about earlier, where it's just the side guy, the side character actor, until he got fatter, and then he would just play the side character actor that's also
Hmm.
fat and can sing and dance.
And in this
Then
movie, he's kind of
sorry,
the hero, the closest thing to a
yeah,
hero, because he's the only one who's like, this guy's fucking weird.
this
Everybody
guy
else is
sucks. Yeah,
like, Steven, you're being a jerk. Why'd you punch your friend? Why'd you yell at your friend? He's just a
yeah.
normal, nice guy. And he's clearly not a normal, nice guy. Is Jim Carrey trying to like do a gay illusion here, and that's what the lisp is?
I don't know, cause he lose it? I think he's doing a performance throughout the movie, right? I don't mean Jim Carrey. I mean the character whose name we don't know because he never tells us.
Yeah.
I feel like he's always doing a performance, right? Like playing a character that he saw on TV. But who would be this lisp guy? Because you even have that scene where Matthew Broderick thinks it's a good idea to give him like is it either a Christmas or a birthday present or something, and it's just a tape to help him deal with his lisp.
Yeah. Well, he says his
Uh,
brother's a speech therapist
oh yeah,
when they're looking at the stars at the satellite, right? When they set that up at the beginning.
Wouldn't that be nice? Like if you have a fat friend and you're like, you know what? I just think that this would be good for you. Just a book about dieting. It's just like that's not
It never works,
helpful.
by the
You
way.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like, oh, does it bother you that much that you got me a fucking book? Uh but that just shows the, how pathetic this Matthew Broderick character is, where he thinks that this would be helpful for this maniac who's just playing a character. It's not even him.
Right. And he loses, I mean, for a split second anyway, he loses his lisp at the end where
Mm.
they're fighting on top of the satellite.
Mm.
Ben
Does he
Stiller,
does he have it at the end when he has that exchange with the paramedic?
it's kind of hard to say because he's talking
He,
minimally and he's injured, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to say.
mm,
But something I did want to give Ben Stiller credit for is you have these sequences that are so 90s, that are so like Nike advertisement. Like I'm thinking specifically when Jim Carrey shows up at the basketball court and is playing with Steven and Jack Black's character and their whole friend group. And they do this multi angle Michael Jordan glass break slam dunk moment with Jim Carrey here, and how that's played to Filter's Nice Shot, I think, or Hey Man. Well, I don't know what the name of the song is, but it just feels so of the time and something you would see in advertising during that point. When products were advertised to men and they wanted to
yeah,
hype you up, they wanted to amp you up, and not like, hey, we have a soft biracial guy and his wife, and here, buy these pills. You need pills. You're depressed. Buy these pills.
yeah, yeah. Very extreme close up angles, very angled from below so that he looks huge, so it looks a lot bigger than he is, and then he breaks the backboard too with a dunk, which
Yep.
feels like a very much like a MTV. What do you call those things that go in between bumper? They go in
Mm-hmm.
between. Uh, and that's what I was saying about Ben Stiller and his visual style, that I think is really underrated in this movie, because you don't expect these types of visual things for a comedy movie, but I think this movie is shot really well, even though it has that. It's definitely a 90s movie. Like it has that feeling of this is set in the 90s and it feels like a 90s movie, looks like a 90s movie. But I think he does a lot of very interesting things with the camera where it's not distracting, and which is actually different than what you get usually from straight uh comedies, especially having a Judd Apatow as a producer who's
Mm-hmm.
so boring with the visuals.
Yeah, I mean, but that really wasn't a thing until later on. I mean, Judd Apatow, I don't think directed. Actually, did he do the Celtics movie with Dan Aykroyd and Damon Wayans?
Yeah,
Celtic Pride.
yeah, I'm pretty sure he at least wrote it, right?
Yeah, I feel like that was
Let's
his
see.
directorial debut.
Directorial debut was not 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
he did a couple of episodes of Freaks and Geeks, an episode of the
Yeah.
Larry Sanders Show, and then
Wow.
two of Undeclared.
Lucky
And
him. Started strong right out the gate. Most directors have
yeah,
a couple embarrassments before they have their first real movie
weird, right? I wonder why he got to do that and not most people.
because he's talented.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he did the special material for the Grammys as his first credit ever. So
Mhm.
that's cool. He had those connections early in his career. Um,
Well,
Heavyweights was his first movie that he wrote.
I've been thinking about revisiting Heavyweights because I got access to a Disney Plus subscription. I was like, when you're not paying for it, you just kind of want to like look around. It's like exploring new
Let's see
terrain.
what,
So I started
yeah,
watching Boy Meets World, and I was like, I guess there's like a Daredevil show that I haven't seen that maybe I could
yeah.
check out. Did I ever finish Punisher? I don't know.
I never did. The
So
new one, the new Daredevil show. Isn't that
I,
a
I,
thing?
I want to. I don't know. I'm feeling a temptation to like check out Marvel stuff I didn't check out. And I think it's just
Ugh.
because there's nothing happening. So
What, like the Black Panther, Captain
no,
Marvel,
no, 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 no,
Marvels?
no. I mean, but honestly, actually, yeah, some of that stuff. because
Oof,
I've abstained
Eternals.
from it, and now I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe am I missing anything? Should I check
No.
it out? 'Cause you know what I think it really is. I kind of want to see the Fantastic Four movie that's coming out,
Hmm.
and it's making me go, maybe there's something good that I missed among
No.
all this shit. And I think really the answer I would find out is no, there isn't. But
I th-
I don't
I
know.
think the best thing you can do for that, which is what I did, which is I don't think I've seen a Marvel. Well, I saw the Deadpool and Wolverine. That's not
Right.
in the
Maybe
universe.
that's the reason why, because I thought that was good. You had it on your
Yeah.
best of the year list.
Yeah, but before that, it was the last one I saw was the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse, whatever, because it was Sam Raimi, and that's a big piece of shit.
Oh yeah.
And after that one, I was like, well, if I can't even enjoy a Sam Raimi movie, this is not for me anymore. I'm just like, this completely lost me.
Right.
But what I did was I just watched a recap on YouTube of this guy talking for half an hour telling you everything, how everything sucks and why it sucks and why it doesn't work as much as the original
This is how
ones.
you wound up at the Critical Drinkers movie.
No, no, man, it's not
Oh.
that bad. It's not people that I don't respect. It's not people that are not just creating outrage for clicks. That sucks. No, no, it's just a couple of dorks that just go very deep into things that I honestly don't give a fuck about these movies. Like a lot of themes and things that I'm just like, it's a fucking Thor movie. Who cares? But at least I got a recap where I don't have to check Eternals, fucking Captain Marvel, The Marvels, Black Panther 2, Thor, whatever, or whatever the other 8 movies that I didn't see, and 5 or 6 TV shows too, right? You have Loki, you have Hawkeye, you have She-Hulk, 2 seasons of that. Uh, and honestly, I don't even think that like I think Marvel right now is trying to like separate themselves from the stink of that failure. So
Mm.
I don't even know if they would use that much into this Fantastic Four movie. I feel like this feels like a reboot, like an unofficial reboot, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe you will spend like fucking 8 hours watching shitty Marvel slop and then nothing of it is used.
It's gonna
Because
not gonna be of consequence.
think about the Jonathan Majors thing, right? The setup was for him, and then all of a sudden they had to be like, oh, never mind, Doctor Doom
Hmm.
out of nowhere, So like, yeah, I don't think it's worth checking all that stuff.
No, I think I think I'm gonna check out Fantastic Four and the Avengers Doomsday. I think I
Yeah.
will. But maybe
Mhm.
yeah, I just pulled up the Wikipedia for myself here to see what they put out since I checked out.
It's
And
so much.
there's
It's so
nothing that
much.
like really that's interesting here. I mean, I do have the new Captain America movie, but
Oof.
I really am only like open minded to that because I don't mind Captain America and Harrison Ford is in it. But I'm not sitting down and watching Ant Man or the Marvels or Wakanda Forever
It
or
was three
Eternals.
Ant-Men.
Remember Shang Chi, by the way?
Oh
Remember
yeah.
Shang Chi?
Yep.
What
They were
happened to that?
apparent.
Simi Liu is now hosting a Hulu show, a reality show. The
Well,
success
apparently
of
this.
Shang Chi really panned out well for him.
No, no. Apparently the second one is coming out sometime. The second Shang-Chi movie
Yeah,
at
I'm
some
sure it
point.
is. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course it is. Why wouldn't they?
they also thought that they would make the villain of Shang-Chi the new big villain because everyone saw Shang-Chi and loved it. Did you see Shang-Chi?
Fuck no. No.
No.
No. Of course not. Why would I
It's
ever
a
go see Shang Chi?
it's apparently not terrible in that slate, but I'm just so I who cares? Like
Wasn't
I'm
it like the
so
top
out.
grossing movie of 2020?
Was it? I don't
Can we
know.
look this up real quick?
Sure.
Shang-Chi, I feel like, was the top grossing movie of 2020. That's the one that people showed up for. And it was their entry into like trying to get the Chinese audience.
No, it was the 99th highest grossing film of
What
2021.
was the top grossing movie of 2020?
Uh,
What else
Let me
came out
see.
that year? There's like nothing. Was there another Marvel
2021.
movie?
Yeah. So you got domestic. Oh, yeesh, what a fucking horrible year. So for domestic box office 2021, number one is Spider-Man No Way Home. Then
2021, not
yeah,
2020.
not
2020 is,
2021. No, Shang-Chi was number 2 there.
but it's
200.
2020. Shang-Chi was 2020, was it not?
Are you sure? No, it's
Whoa,
2021.
no, I'm wrong. I'm
Yeah,
way
it's
wrong. I
2021.
thought it was 2020 for certain. Wow. All right. Well,
But
Spider-Man
check
No
out
Way Home makes perfect sense.
but check out this year though. So you got Spider-Man No Way Home. You got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Blah. You got
Yep.
Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Sure.
You got Black Widow, Fast 9, Eternals, No Time to Die, A Quiet Place Part 2, Ghostbusters Afterlife,
Jesus.
Free Guy, Jungle Cruise, Godzilla vs. Kong, Dune Part 2, Halloween Kills, Encanto, Cruella, Sing 2? Did you even know that movie existed? Sing
No.
2, Space Jam 2, The
Wow.
Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and Candyman. That's the top 20 of
Okay, so
that.
we got one good movie and
Yeah,
it's Halloween Kills
sure. Out of 20.
out of 20.
What a fucking awful. Well, I mean, I guess it's the money movies, but Jesus Christ.
Very
That
fun to have a
sucks.
brand new big budget streaming movie every month. That's what I remember from 2021, but wow. That's pretty bad.
Oof.
Well,
Yeah.
on that note, that actually is a good transition here. I misremembered this movie being a flop. This movie was actually a big success at the box office.
Yeah.
This made like 3 times its budget back. It made $100 million, and it was just a matter of, oh, the critics hate the Cable Guy because it was so not what was expected of Jim Carrey at this time. And in fact, I believe either Ebert or Siskel put it on their worst of the year list. I think it was Ebert
Mm.
because Ebert was more of a prude.
What a little. It made, yeah, 100 million. Wow. With what was the budget? Like five?
It was about 35, 40 million. And it was probably all
Okay.
Jim Carrey's salary.
20 million the opening weekend. I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah. Well, budget was 47 million. Let me pull it up since you're leaving me by myself. So Cable Guy estimated 47 million according to this. I mean, honestly, it's definitely not high grossing movies, but I think when it comes to I don't know why I just said it like that. Performance. Um, I don't think you have other movie in his career. Let me go back to this. Hold on. What am I sharing? Okay. Let me go back to his career. So before I put my foot in my mouth like I usually do. See if I'm not talking out of order here. Because I feel like he's the range that he goes through with this character here. I think it's better than like what other character in Jim Carrey's career has the range that he uses in this movie. You know, it's usually very one tone or like I guess liar liar, right?
Mm.
The character's not just like a goofy, silly
Me, myself, and
cartoon.
Irene, he does two different.
Oh,
He
right.
basically does Matthew Broderick and,
Yeah.
you know, but actually
Because
he wasn't really creepy as his alter ego. He was just very aroused. He was very
yeah. Very
sexually
cool.
charged.
Yeah. Because I feel like it's such a good performance to show what he can do. And it's understated at times, which is weird to say about him. But then you also get the unhinged Jim Carrey here. So you get like the full Jim Carrey experience with this movie. I'm pretty sure that the reason why critics didn't like this is because his autism here is not likable. His autism is aggressive and it's
Mm.
annoying and it's creepy. But is this character that much different than most of his other characters? Like, just remove the obsessive part, and yeah, I think it's probably the character that has more depth that he's that he's portrayed, at least in a comedy, right?
I think so. I think you're right about that. It's definitely the most interesting character that he's played. You know, they brought him back for a Super Bowl commercial in 2021. Did you ever see that?
Oh, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. They did for Verizon FiOS internet. And it's actually, listen, it's not like a bad Super Bowl commercial. We don't have to watch it.
Okay, I was
He
just
didn't
for
lose the
fun.
character. He didn't lose the character over like 25 years, he's still doing it the same way, like some people do. I know Ricky Gervais forgot how to do David Brent in like a span of 7 years. He took like 7 years off. He didn't know how to be David Brent when he came back for the U.S. office. That's not the
Did you
case here.
did you see the David Brent movie?
No, you've asked
I've
me this several times and it has not changed. I have not watched it.
well, because I know that you were interested in watching what Another Life or whatever his show is
Hey,
called.
by the way, I was not the only person who started watching Derek. He put up a post and was like, so many people are now rediscovering Derek. He put that up on Instagram, like right after you criticized me for watching Derek.
Okay, so you're
So,
just like everyone else. Gotcha. All
yeah, I
right.
guess. All right.
All right. I'm
Oof.
not.
Okay.
I tried to watch Derek when it came out, and I was just like, I can't be mean. What is this? Like, am I supposed to just be like, oh, look at the sweet retard. He's sweet. No, I don't know. Maybe with my 39-year-old brain now, I can enjoy it more than what was like 35 when it came out. Uh, so that much different. But yeah, it's just not. I don't know. There's another life one. I've seen some clips. I've seen some bloopers of it where it looks more like the type of comedy that I like. So I might check this one out. But Derek, I mean, you never mentioned it again, so I'm assuming.
No, I kind of gave up on it. I was done
Yeah.
with it. It
All
was
right.
over. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
well, thank you to Zen Shift for picking the cable guy. Finally, we have a real winner here in the listener sponsored series. I mean, not that we've disliked the movies, but it can be arduous at
Yeah.
times.
And this one wasn't at all. It's a lot of fun. Really, I don't want to say holds up because I think I might have seen it once before, but it's definitely a very easy watch and easy to just enjoy because of how different this type of filmmaking is to what you get now. Did you see? I know we're closing, but did you see the trailer for Happy Gilmore too? Can
I
we
did
can
see
we
it.
mention
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay.
We can talk about the
All
Happy
right.
Gilmore trailer.
It looks like
It's
yeah. Go on. Go ahead.
hey, listen, it looks better than Anchorman 2 looked.
Hmm. Fair. Not saying much, but I find those Netflix movies so fucking hideous. Like the over contrasty everything and how colorful and just so rich everything is. It's so ugly and he looks tired. He looks I mean, he's obviously old, but he just it's rough to make these sequels to a movie that came out 20 years later and not just look tired?
Mm.
Especially when he's like, "Oh, well, he's gonna play again, but he's 20 years older now." Uh yeah, I don't know. It looks
You
like
know,
shit.
Shooter McGavin seemed more energized than Adam
And
Sandler
him.
did. But
Yeah.
I mean, he has a reason to be. He needs something, you know.
Yeah, he needs this. He needs this to be a hit. Do you think it will be a hit? Well, do we even
Yeah.
know it's a Netflix movie, right? We don't
Yeah,
know.
we'll never really know for certain, but I
Yeah.
think it will be.
Well,
I
I
think
think it
people are
looks
actually excited about it, which is kind of
well,
um I mean, I don't know. There's nothing I would really get excited about if it's a 30-year sequel these
yeah.
days.
Yeah, unless you get Caligula 2
With what?
with I don't
With
know.
90-year-old Malcolm McDowell. He died in the
Cali-
first one.
Caligula
Everybody died.
4. We revive him with cum or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Why
okay.
not?
Yeah, that's an
I'm sure. You
interesting
know what?
choice.
You know what? I'm sure there's a Caligula sequel that's unofficial.
Oh no,
That
there
we
is.
don't even
There's
know.
a
Oh,
few
there is.
actually. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
of
there you
course.
go. There you go.
Well,
That's it.
we're closing the show out on the fourth anniversary of Zack Snyder's Justice League. It was released 4 years ago today. How
Yeah,
about that? The true number one movie of
yeah.
2021, right
He's
there.
yeah. Save that franchise with that movie, and then
Saved it,
left.
ended it. They killed it. They drove
Yeah,
it into the ground further after that just to spite him.
yeah. But then you do the thing. You give everyone what they want, which is what he should have given us from the start before everything happened. And then he graciously is like, "All right, I'm out. Enjoy destroying these characters that I so nicely set up for success. And good luck." And now we have three Batmans and five Supermans
Oh
and
no,
and
there's nothing. There's one Superman.
All right.
And they're talking about several Batmans, right? But I don't think you're going to see any of them.
Any? Hmm.
I think
Do
by
you
the time
think?
they figure their shit out, it's all going to start going public domain.
Oh, fuck, that's true, right? So we will have our Batman
We will,
movie.
yes, you will be Alfred.
Yeah,
I'll be Batman.
I mean, I could be
And
Bane. I could
who
just
can we
be.
get as,
I could be Bane. He was Mexican. He didn't look Mexican. I could just.
yeah,
If,
that's a revision, though. I like to think
okay.
of Bane as a white man, personally speaking.
So I'll just play bald Alfred. No, I'll wear a bad wig and a mad mustache.
Or just put a mustache on you.
Dude, I
That'll
mean,
work.
listen,
You'll
if
be old
those
enough by then.
yeah, if those fucking Brits that are making this fairy tale extended universe with these horrible horror movies and are making money out of it, why the fuck not? You know? I mean, obviously, because why would you? But yeah.
There's a couple of properties I'm actually eyeing once they go public domain, and yeah, I would love to do like something Batman-y for certain, and do my version of that and see how that
What's
would be play. But
the most down to earth Batman villain that you can make like a
down to earth,
yeah, yeah. What I mean by that is like so we don't need a lot of like special
like the
effects
one
or
who's the
makeup.
closest to just like a regular criminal,
Yeah, yeah. What would that be like a
Mr. Zaz,
mm,
and you're just
yeah.
doing scars on somebody
Yeah,
because he's a
yeah, yeah. Just
serial killer.
the lines, the not the
Um,
yeah. Hmm.
hmm. There's
Because
plenty.
they
I'm
did
certain. Maybe you
they
just do
did
the mob. That's boring.
yeah, they did Penguin, right? They did
They
the
did
Alfred.
Penguin.
They did Alfred in that Gotham fucking awful ass
Yeah, why didn't
show.
that show win Emmys? Why didn't
Yeah.
Alfred win the Emmy for Alfred?
Oh, well, they also had Pennyworth, right?
Yeah,
Remember that
that they
show?
did that. That's what I was talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, our Pennyworth will be better because he'll say fuck and faggot.
yeah, yeah.
That's
There's
interesting.
the copyright laws are they're all going to be all the interesting stuff from the 20th century is going to be expiring soon. Like
Mhm.
within the next 20 years, you're going to see so much in the public domain that is like big property stuff. And I have no idea how they're going to handle that. Because a company like, I mean, honestly, we might just be seeing the end of Warner Brothers right now because they haven't figured out the situation with DC. There's reports saying everything is riding on James Gunn's Superman movie, and the reports are it's terrible and it's great. The runtime is 2 hours and 40 minutes or something like that. They don't have their shit figured out at all. And so what's likely to happen is Warner Brothers as a whole might get folded up and bought by somebody like Disney, which I really, really, really don't want that to happen. I love Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is my favorite studio, and to see it, if it goes the way of 20th Century Studios, which is a horrible name, that'll be just utter disappointment. Gutting. Really, it would be so sad because then the movies are really dead. The movies are
Yeah.
totally dead. If something as big as Warner Brothers capsizes and gets absorbed into Disney, it's over.
Yeah, then you're definitely getting the same for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we're close, right?
We're getting much closer
Unfortunately.
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, it sucks, but
I'm
anyway,
hoping that these
yeah.
movies fail enough where they change the formula, but it's not gonna be a year for that. You know, they've failed already a bunch and they still the changes that they
Well,
made
we're
are
not
very
at that point
questionable.
anymore. I mean, for Disney, they're kind of at that point. For Warner Brothers, if the movies fail, then it's over. They
It's
have to
done.
work or else. So
Is it me or is very I mean I've never been a Superman person. It's weird for me that everything depends on a Superman movie, but it's probably because I just don't care about that
if
character,
you had said that in 1950 or 1970, it would make all the sense in the world. In 2025, it doesn't make sense.
right?
They got
Like,
no other plays. That's the thing. This is the most completed thing that they've got. For whatever reason, the Batman sequel, it's just not a priority of theirs at the moment. They keep saying Matt Reeves isn't done with the script. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's
I
true at all. I think they're waiting to see what happens with Superman because they fucked themselves into a corner.
Yeah, it doesn't take 2, 3 years to write a Batman script. Fuck off.
No, people were saying, "Oh, he's going through a divorce. He's doing this. He's doing that." And it's just like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. Then get a new writer director, I
Yeah,
guess. You own the Batman property at the end of the day. I don't think Robert Pattinson has it in his contract that it has to be Matt Reeves no matter what. We've seen this happen before.
yeah.
And wouldn't that mean he has more time to write the script, for being real?
You would think, but I don't know. It just feels very risky that everything is depending on Superman, where I don't think that's a character that most people. I think you have to be like a comic book nerd that knows the good Superman story to care about Superman, and how many of those are left, you know?
Mm.
Like if you ask anyone Superman, what do they have in mind? If they're older, Smallville, right? Or Christopher Reeve, if they're even older. I'm not sure if those are still going to see this. But then what, Lewis and Clark, whatever that show that came out recently, I don't even know if it's called that. I know that's the
Superman and
90s one.
Lois, they call it.
That
Lois and Clark's
that
the one from the 90s with
that's the
Dean
90s
Cain.
one, yeah. Because like who again, I don't know. I feel like it's this choice feels very CW to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's yeah, I don't. I'll
It
go
doesn't
see
look
it.
good. Yeah,
I will
I
go see
will.
it,
We'll
but
be talking about it for this podcast, and we're actually going to get into Zack Snyder's films in the lead up to
yeah,
that. That comes out in what, June or May,
something like that. Yeah.
July? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they push it back a little bit. But anyway, if you'd like us to talk about a movie of your choosing, you can head on over to patreon.com/lowres and sign up for our listener sponsored tier. We got a few more coming out for the month of March and also April. But if you want to sign up today, you will be next in line after we get those out. So head on over again to patreon.com/lowres. You'll basically be a producer for one episode and assign us a topic to get into. The Cable Guy, that was a fun revisit. The next one we have to do, I think, is Vanishing Point, unless I'm forgetting. Oh, maybe Almost Famous.
Almost
We got
famous. Yeah.
requested Almost Famous, the extended cut, the director's cut, the bootleg cut, whatever the hell it's called. So we'll be doing those up next between regular shows, and then maybe we'll do one of your choosing. So that has been movies for this week. Thank you for listening.